Welcome, everybody. Once again, it is I, 6am Comics, and this is reviewing my 9-year-old's comics. Last week, we took a look at Spectacular Black Widow issue number 3, Killer Bee Part 1. And as is only natural, when you review a Part 1, it's time to take a look at Part 2. So let's do that. Beginning with the overall presentation, there isn't much difference between Part 1 and Part 2 of the storyline. Both are presented in black and white, and being that this issue was started immediately following the completion of the first, the art styles are basically identical. Though there are some very subtle changes. For starters, Nolan seemingly found a new pen with some fresh ink. As previously noted in the last review, given the rushed nature of the comic, Nolan was in a race against a quickly drying marker. In addition, although this is a strictly black and white comic, red is used very conservatively for the exaggeration of some panels. Probably the most obvious difference from this issue is that it's shorter in length. Excluding the cover, this particular comic is only 5 pages in length, making it one of the shortest comics in the worldwide library. So what kind of conclusion can we get in 5 pages anyway? Let's have a look. Picking up where we left off in issue 1, Black Widow just got his butt handed to him by the devastating power of Frank F. Frank, aka Killer Bee. However, if we know anything about Black Widow, it's that he never backs down from a losing battle. Only one thing left to do. Fight to the death. He lunges at Frank with a powerful right hook, knocking his opponent back with a pow. The subtle use of red in Frank's eyes shows that this attack angered him, meaning he felt that punch despite Black Widow's weakened state. Enraged, Frank mumbles, "You darn heroes don't fit in the pants of pain." Showing off some full rage mode of his own, Frank retaliates with his own right hook, his eyes blazing with anger. Black Widow is hit so hard that fragments of his mask are ripped off of his face. Beneath the torn segments of his suit, some blood is visible, emphasized by the use of color. The League, still watching the epic showdown, look on in horror. Quick gasps. BW's in trouble. Max quickly jumps in to help, punching Frank in the arm as Frank deals more damage to our title hero. But just as Frank seemingly is gaining the upper hand, a forearm full of razor-sharp spikes intervenes from off-panel and stabs Frank in the arm. Wow, that's violent. Frank shouts in agony, "Aye!" Black Widow looks up at his new ally. "Blue Jay?" Off-panel, this Blue Jay figure replies, "You're sliding, bub." "What up, fool?" We are gloriously introduced to Blue Jay, as advertised on the cover. An old acquaintance of Black Widow's. P.S. I'm not just pulling this out of my butt. There's context in issue number 5. Blue Jay pulls out a mysterious rock. "Let's hurry. I want to see some blood. I brought an enforcer." We get a close-up of the rock in his hand. "This is a magical gem from the beginning that is able to do basically anything in the universe." Oh, that's convenient. "Now for a patch-up." As he holds out the gem, energy bursts forth from the rock and encompasses Black Widow. "Haha! Nice!" Black Widow emerges from the energy with a brand new patched-up suit, healed of his wounds and ready to rumble. He turns to Frank and without effort smacks him so hard that he literally flies out of the Earth's atmosphere. Defeated. I guess you can say I was out of this world. End. Well, we've got a lot to unpack here, so let's just get right into it. For 5 pages of story, Nolan wasted no time hitting the plot points needed to get us from point A to point B. And while I applaud the many twists and turns, point B itself leaves me with more questions than answers. What exactly is this magical gem from the beginning? The beginning of what exactly? The Earth? The universe? Time itself? For an item so powerful, how did Blue Jay get his hands on it? And why did he only use it to quickly patch up a suit and heal some wounds? Come to think of it, I'm not so sure that's really what went down. Tin, foil, hat, time. If there's anything I can say about the Spectacular Black Widow timeline, it's that despite some fantastical elements, it's kept itself fairly grounded. Well, as grounded as a tale involving superpowered twins and a time-altering villain can really be. The tone has been consistently dark and gritty, and stylistically, the characters aren't as cartoonish looking as, say, Scorpion or even the original Black Widow line. However, the moment Blue Jay arrives on the scene and uses a mystical space rock, something changes very drastically. Black Widow looks different, almost cartoony. Even Frank is drawn simpler. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Punched into space? Not very grounded. Not very gritty. Even the final panel, after launching a man out of the Earth's atmosphere, probably killing him in the process, our virtuous hero delivers a pun and laughs, almost maniacally. And since when do the eyes on the mask function like real eyes? In all spectacular Black Widow issues up to this point, it's been very well established that these are just parts of a mask, and we're even given a glimpse of Maxwell's actual eyeballs through the mask eye sockets. But the mask itself actually blinking? Where have I seen that before? Interesting. This is a feature of the original Black Widow series. In fact, this entire page looks like it was taken directly from that series. Also, where'd everybody go? Wouldn't the League of Superheroes or Blue Jay be celebrating with Black Widow? He's just standing there, laughing in an empty void. This all leads me to wonder, did that space rock actually heal Black Widow? I don't think it did. I think it did one of the following. 1, it swapped Spectacular Black Widow with Black Widow from the original series. 2, it converted the entire universe into a variant of the original universe. Or 3, it combined the two universes into one. What I find interesting about all these theories is that just before Nolan abandoned the original series in favor of the Spectacular series, he began work on one other issue titled Unforgiven, which he left unfinished until very recently. And there was something very interesting about it. It was stylistically more in line with the Spectacular comics than it was its own series. In fact, following this Killer Bee issue, he went back and finished the Unforgiven comic, but never labeled it as Spectacular Black Widow. So, canonically speaking, the original Black Widow series experienced an anomaly in which it became grounded and gritty, just as the Spectacular Black Widow series experienced a glitch that caused it to become cartoonish and lighthearted. Going further down that rabbit hole, there's only one more issue of Spectacular Black Widow in the archive. And it's not a continuation of this story, it's a prequel issue taking place before the Killer Bee saga. Stranger still, following this issue, Nolan abandoned the Spectacular line of comics and returned to the original Black Widow series, going back to its cartoonish and lighthearted roots. You could almost say that this magical crystal destroyed the Spectacular universe and reset it to the original timeline. And look, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but since Nolan continued his work on the original Black Widow series, there's even been the incorporation of time travel, involving an evil Black Widow from the future. Hence, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility for a hero to become evil in the future and then travel back in time to fight another hero. Maybe this explains everything. Perhaps Blue Jay and Black Widow's interference with the timeline destroyed the Spectacular universe altogether, and this is why Super Nolan travels back in time as the villain's stopwatch, so that he could stop Black Widow and Blue Jay from using the magical stone. Or maybe a 9-year-old just got bored drawing serious comics and decided to just draw cartoons again. Either way, more comics for us. And with that, we have only one issue of Spectacular Black Widow remaining in the worldwide archive. But that's not to say we're out of Black Widow content. We're far from it. However, next week, we're going to take a look at yet another spider-themed hero named Red Recluse. So definitely stay tuned for that. Anyway, I suppose it is time to rate this two-parter right there. I'm gonna give it I don't know, 5 francs.